Hello and welcome back. You've been with us now for 4 modules. You've got a pretty good idea of what we do and how we do it, and I'm hoping it's going to be helpful to you, whether you take this information on and use it in your own project, or you may want to join us and our members. So what I'm trying to do here is to get you to a point where you can carry your project forward and get you to cash flow positive. The most important part of cash flow positive is it takes away all your risk. It doesn't make you profitable, but it does give you the trading history that you need to then repeat another big milestone to get more and more cash flow in. And as you roll those on, once you've done 5 or 6, then you're starting to get into your own business. So every month we run these, we start with new classes, or this is our level 1 program that we talk about. We usually cluster 6 projects together, and they might be geographic or demographic. So it might be in one country, they might be in several countries, but one topic. And we do these across the board. And those 6 people, those 5 other projects, when we put a new member in, there's 6 members, they will stay together as a community for 6 months. They work together, they help and learn from each other all the way through. There's things that you've done that they would be able to benefit from, and vice versa. And we make sure that everyone can be competent and qualified to help with the other members and also learn from the coaching they get in those group coaching calls. Now, in order to get there, it's best to have a score of 40% plus or more in our readiness assessment. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to get a free readiness assessment where you can go online for 3 minutes. That'll get you a report, a 6-page report, free of charge, but it'll also give me an opportunity to see whether or not you'll qualify. Once you've done that and you've gone through the transition audit items and made sure that there's nothing there that's going to be impossible for you, then you start to get eligible for our program. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the program now. We have 4 pillars in there. So the first one is learning. It's mostly self-paced learning, video-based. Our entire program for 6 months requires between 4 and 9 hours a week. So it's not going to eat all your time, but you do need to commit some. The self-paced learning includes an online learning module. It's nearly 40 hours. It includes 6 modules, the 6 steps of commercialization. And those 6 modules have hours of videos, all the different ones. They also have checklist templates, examples, everything in there that you need. For instance, if you wanted to create a license agreement and you needed to find an environment where there's plenty of prospective licenses, it's a trade show. So we show you how to walk a trade show. You take our package off the shelf. It's a 7-week implementation from the start, where you qualify what the trade show is and whether it's the right one for you, all the way through to the week after the trade show, where you actually do the negotiating and hand over due diligence, get everything signed up, ready to go. So we do all of that. It's straight off the shelf. That's all part of the self-paced learning package. Once you've done that, we then run your commercial model. I talked about 4-hour workshops with 244 questions, which blows out to 500 data points. Yes, you can get that as a Q&A, but it's much better if you're running it in a workshop where somebody's quizzing you and drilling down on each of the points. So 244 turns into 500 questions, and 500 answers gives you what you actually need. So once you've got the commercial model, it comes with an action plan, and so you've got everything all sequenced, costed, everything, and also you've got your statement of source and allocation of funds. Then it's implementation time. The third pillar is implementation, where you roll up the sleeves, we roll up our sleeves, and we get in the trenches with you. We want to make sure this all happens for you and nothing slows down or stops. So we're pushing you, we're working with you, you're working just as hard, but you're learning all the way so you can own this process at the end of 6 months. And finally, there's the tracking and measuring. The 4th pillar is all about making sure that you're on track, and we can measure and test everything along the way. The KPIs you need to make sure that all your key players are doing what they need to do, that you're meeting your requirements, that you've raised the sufficient capital you need, and if you have to adjust anything upwards or downwards, we help you with that. But all the way. We're checking, testing, measuring, and if anything's awry, we can actually go in and help you adjust it by adjusting everything around it to make sure it all fits. So that's your 4 pillars of the program that we run. You're clustered with 5 other groups or 5 other projects, sorry. Some projects may have 1, 2, or 3 people in them. That doesn't matter. If you joined our program, then we would give you a login and you can share that with your staff, but they can only bring 1 project to the table, and we only go for 1 cash generating transaction. What we look for is making sure that we get you 1 cash generating transaction in that time. Excuse me. So the touch points we have are three levels. First level is a weekly group coaching call. That's where we bring all our 6 players together in each of the groups, and I talk to you for an hour or so. We answer all your questions, we handle any problems, issues, celebrate our wins, and look at our programs which are it's causing us a bit of anxiety. And then the back half of that, we then do a weekly lesson, a live lesson. So sometimes we'll work it around that particular one of the group's projects, and what did we learn, and we break it open and I go through it, show people. If the inventor wants to share that, in most cases they do, and everyone's able to then contribute. So that works really good in our group coaching, weekly group coaching calls. The next level is our project status review, and it's once a month where you make a booking with me, you sit down one-on-one on Zoom, and we go through your project, your master plan, the mind map, and we make sure you're on track. We make sure that there are options you have which we're going to close out at different times as you get past them, or they're no longer the best pathway, or if they become a better pathway, we'll then close off the one we're working on and shift the whole project. And that's done in concert with us, and we make sure that you plan that adequately and you can still keep the momentum. And finally, the next level is the reach out calls. One of the things we've learned about this process is if you slow down or stop, everyone around you is going past you, and that you can't afford to do that with IP, because even though you might have protection, people are going to invent around you, and it could be a lesser idea that actually gets traction because they're out there first. So what we want to do is get you to the market as quickly as possible, get you to cash flow positive as quickly as possible, so you can then sustain yourself as you go forward. So those reach out calls are there, so you feel like you're getting stuck or slowing down, or you want to change, or something's come up. Even if you just had a bad day and you know you don't want to deal with a particular party again and you would like to change, and we've had a lot of that, particularly with funding people who grow horns or whatever. So in a case like that, what we'll do is you just jump on a call with me. You've got full access to my calendar. You book in 24, 48 hours, you're talking to me. We're working through the problem, solving it and getting you back on track. You don't have to wait for the weekly group coaching calls. That's also a one-on-one or one to your group. So it means that you're getting a good private benefit if you need it. Now, what we want in terms of commitment is 1 project only. It doesn't matter how many you've got. You must shelve all the other projects, only focus on 1 project, and 1 commercial objective. The Confucian saying of the fox who chases many rabbits catches none. We want you to catch 1 rabbit. That rabbit is going to be 1 of 4 significant cash generating transactions, and that might be a modest capital raise. We don't want you to raise $10 million and go to global on the first week. What we would rather you do is raise enough money to get you to cash flow positive. That way you own enough of the company or the project to actually make some money out of this in the long run. You might be aiming for a distribution agreement, and it might be just a local, national, global. You might be looking for a license agreement, again, the same sort of geographic territories, or you might be looking for a trade sale. Trade sales where you might feel the project is a good one, but it doesn't fit your company anymore, or your thinking or your direction you're heading, and you just want to trade sale, find a buyer. Sometimes we'll find a buyer for it and then carve out your local territory so you can still use the product in your own markets exclusively, and your competitors can't buy it from anyone else, particularly the person you sold to, and use it. And we've done that before quite successfully. So they're the 4 areas that we're going to focus on, and we want to make sure you get one of those will get you, generate you a significant cash generating transaction. So you get your first one. Then if you've done that within 6 months, then you get a chance to select another one and we start working towards that. You're with us for a 6-month program and we make sure that you're working in that time. We don't want you to go cold. We want you to turn up. There's a commitment you make once a week for our group coaching calls, and we're checking on you to make sure you're making progress all along the way. So, we're looking at, if you do 5 or 6 or 10 of those cash generating transactions, you've now got cash flow. You've also got a steady growth program with revenue. And what that means is you're probably going to be ready for pre-scale. So pre-scale is where we hand you off to venture capital firms or private equity firms. That's not what we do. It's we finish early stage commercialization finishes really at pre-scale. So what we'll do is get you to their front door, and they would look at you, and the objective for us is that they can look at your project and say, if we put 10 times the equity into this project, we can get 100 times the output. And that's what you want, because you don't mind sharing that extra with somebody who's competent. It's not about them bringing just money. They will bring far more than money. They bring their contact list, and if they can pick up the phone and call 26 of their past clients or people they've associated with or people they've done business with and turn those all into paying customers or distributors or licensees, it changes the game for you immediately. And that's what they're looking for. That's their leverages, which they won't share with you, but you get the benefit as being still part owner of the project. So the whole idea then is to scale you beyond the early stage, which is we need to do that, get you to that gate within 6 months. If we can do that, we've achieved what we want to achieve and you've achieved what you want. So where to from here? Well, what I want you to do, if you see this as something that could interest you and you want to go and do your review, do the online project process and make sure your project's eligible, then I want you to book a one-on-one interview with me. I'll be able to check your eligibility and help you. And you can do that. All the information is in this below me or around me on this on this page. You'll also get to do the commercial readiness test. We'll give you the link to that. You can go and do it. It's yours. It takes you about 3 minutes. It's multi-choice questionnaires, but at the same time, it gives you a very good picture of how ready you are. And it'll give you a report, it'll give you a score. And if you're over 40%, you're ready to go. If you're 80 or 90%, you probably don't need me and you'll be able to use what you've got out of this and go and do it yourself. That's going to take 3 minutes. It's going to give you a 6-page report. The explainer for all of this is on our website, which is Kickstart Plus. Also, the explainer on the course. So if you go into Kickstart.plus, you can look under programs, level 1, and it'll have a video explainer on how our program works. It gives you far more detail than what I've given you today. Now, you might want handouts from this little mini course. I'm happy to give you some of them. You might, the 7 steps for this, or the 5 points for this, or the 6 leverages, or whatever you need. That's fine. Email me. I'll send those on to you. Just ask me for what you want. Treat it with confidence. I don't want it published anywhere else. It's a copyright. I look forward to seeing you and your results. And if you want to be part of what we've got as a commercialization program, I'd welcome you to make some steps and talk to me online. Okay, thank you very much.